campaign on that he was going to be a dictator. Guess what? He's living up to what he promised, to be a retribution to act as a dictator. Oh,
come on, Anna. He did not promise to be a dictator.
He didn't promise retribution?
He didn't. You just said he promised to be a dictator. Are you still going with this?
Scott, those were his. I'm
You
quoting
still
him.
don't get it. All these months later, the left still doesn't get it.
Listen,
If
I
you
know
come
you're
into
not.
this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as
Okay.
that. We do not
Listen,
have unlimited resources
I think
in
a
this
lot of
country
Americans-
to take care of other
There's
people.
a hell of
We
a
have
lot
our
of
own
people
people
other than the
first,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They
From
are
a
not
lot
the
of
same as
different-
black people who were brought here against
That's
our will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot of
across the
people
border.
other
There's a big
than the
difference.
black
There is a
people.
big
That's
difference.
exactly what
There
I
is a
just
big
said.
difference.
That's
Share Michael,
exactly what I just
share
said, Sir
Michael,
Michael.
As you saw from the intro, it was a wild intro. So in first intro, you saw the left still doesn't get it. They still are missing the point. They still don't understand what's going on. And then on the second point, you see the chaos that's soon on Abby Phillips' show. If you're new to this channel, I always talk about how Abby Phillips' show is a very biased show. She always stacks the panel in favor of liberals or people who lean liberal or who agree with Abby Phillips' vision of the world, right? Abby Phillips is a black woman, probably has a college degree, multiple factors signaling that she is a Democratic voter. She works as a journalist. She works in New York, black woman, get a degree, signs of a Democratic voter. And she stacks the panel constantly in the favor of the left. And you saw that episode, they were discussing illegal immigration. And I don't understand why the Democrats are not getting the message that Americans want to be prioritized. They don't want to hear about the concerns or sympathies of everyone else. And that's why I played that clip with Sure Michael, because I believe the reason why Anna Navarro brung up the slavery and illegals, because I don't know where she was going with it, but I think the reason why she brung it was to almost, I grew up feeling this way too, that they assume that you're supposed to align with immigrants, right? Illegal immigrants to allowed to be in this country, right? I get it all the time because I am descendant from Caribbean parents. And people always say, oh, your parents would have gotten deported. And I'm like, my parents came here the right way. I remember my mom told me she waited 15, 20 years before she was illegally allowed to migrate into the United States of America, if I remember correctly. I might be misremembering the story. So I'm like, okay, my parents waited 20 years to come into the country the right way, and you want me to make excuses for people who effectively cut the line? Don't make sense. And this argument that the media has done, it highlights exactly the end goal of why they want illegals in here. They need illegals so much that they can't even afford to deport the criminal ones. Make it make sense.
Most of your papers never covered her story when it happened. To the extent that you covered it at all, it was because President Trump forced you to cover it by highlighting it repeatedly over and over again. He had to shame you into covering it. And each and every one of you that sides over and over again with these MS-13 terrorists, to the extent that you have the financial means to do so, you all choose to live in condos or homes or houses as far away from these kinds of gangbangers as you possibly can. If I offered any one of you a rent-free home with no taxes to pay in any of these gang neighborhoods, and I said your neighbors are MS-13 terrorists or Mexican mafia or Sinaloa cartel or Tren de Aragua, I couldn't pay you to live there. But yet you, with your coverage, are trying to force innocent Americans to have these people as their neighbors, and that one day their daughter may be abducted from their home and raped and murdered. So you're not going to get an ounce of sympathy from this administration or President Trump for the terrorists who've invaded our homes and our country.
And now we return back to the Abby Phillips panel. I'm going to give you a full context of what led to that explosive movement that's going viral online everywhere when Sure Michael is here, essentially being offended that she would equate people coming here against their will to, I even compare. She didn't really compare, right? Sure Michael did misheard her, but to me, it's like, why bring it up in the first place? Like, why would you try to compare it or bring it up as an example? That's where I'm lost at. I don't know how she would have went with this other than emotionally trying to gaslight people to feel sympathy for these people. End of the day, you broke the rules to come into this country. We shouldn't reward people who break the rules. If someone break into my house, I shouldn't award them by being a gracious host, because that will incentivize more people to come break into my house. Oh, you break into Kenny's house, he'll give you water, food, he'll treat you to dinner. Just break in. All you gotta do is break into his house, he'll do it. compared to another neighbor who is, if you walk into his house, you break into his house, you might get shot. What? That's the incentives. And to me, I hate how some leftists, and this is why I can't stand leftists. This is why they go out of their way to bundle everyone together, legal immigrants and illegal immigrants together, because that way they create a coalition and say, look, he's going after immigrants. No, he's going after immigrants that broke the law. He's going after immigrants that weren't supposed to be immigrants in the first place. You walked your butt across the border, got crimes you wanted by Interpol, and you want us to protect them and keep them in this country? Make it make sense, Democrats. And this is why I can't wait to do my next video, but I want to focus on this point here because it just goes to show that the Democrats have nothing left. The Democrats have nothing more than emotional manipulation, emotional gaslighting, character assassination. That's all the Democrats stand for. That's all the leftists have at this point in time. They can't give you any rational, logical reasoning based on outcomes why you should go with their policy approach. All they got is emotional blackmail, shaming you. And it's falling on deaf ears because everyone's like, you ain't about nothing but maintaining power. And illegals is a way, to them, illegals equal Democrat voter. And this is why they go so hard for illegals. That's my thoughts. I'll hear yours in the comment section. Let's get into this video.
It seems to me that the political analysis of this, though, is, and a lot of average people are looking at it this way. Why is it that we can let 20 million people into the country just walk across, whatever, and there's no real process for them to do that, but then we have to individually pick out every single person and go through years upon years upon years of paperwork and this and that and the other, and all we're trying to do is send them back to where they came from because they came here illegally in the first place. 20 million in with no process. How do you get 20 million out with years and years of people fighting every single case? You could cherry pick any case you want.
Exactly. Because the whole point is to keep as much of them in the country as possible until the next Democrat get in. And they'll do the same thing. And this is my funny part is, and this is why I think as an American, I can't vote for the Democratic Party ever again. Because they have no consistent kind of philosophy or approach to their governance. It's whatever's convenient at the time. I care about due process if it helps me with my political ends, aka keep illegals in this country to boost my census numbers, to get me more House congressional seats so I can influence the politics more, use them as pawns in a game to justify more government spending in my district, my county, find pathways to give them amnesty or the right to vote, make them have American kids so that way these American kids have interests tied to these people that I'm importing into the country, into my state, to help me with my political party and my political leverage and my political power. I see why Malcolm X used to call the white liberals the most dangerous animal in the Western Hemisphere. They manipulate you, gaslight you, thinking they're doing something more and virtuous, but this whole time, it's really, they're using these people to stack the deck in their favor to maintain political power.
But the reality is the crisis that put Donald Trump in the White House was caused over years and years and years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all, and now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
A lot of them came in. A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November polling
Garcia
showed Donald
back.
Trump won the
That's
election.
CNN polling.
The
public is shifting.
We are a sovereign nation, and you cannot just come into our country illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of this earth.
Asylum is a legal right.
If you come in illegally,
asylum is not a legal right, man. I'm tired of this argument, bro. In my estimation, asylum is a privilege. It's not a right. It's not. You don't have a right to be entitled to be invited into someone's house. So why do you think you have a right to be invited into someone's country? Make it make sense. This is what I'm talking about. Democrats got nothing but gaslighting and emotional manipulation. Asylum isn't a right. That is the conservative view on immigration. Asylum isn't a right. It's a privilege. And that can be taken away at any time. Especially if you accepting these people under that pretext, because 90% 90% of asylum claims are false, made up, exaggerated, prosecute. Like Make it make sense. But the Democrats want all these people to just walk across the border and come into our country and release them back into our... No. Makes no logical sense. But it does make sense if you put the political angle to it. If I highlight all the benefits Democrats get for having illegals in the country, it makes sense why they go out of their way to say due process. But it didn't have any due process to come into the country. But you want due process to kick them out? Make it make sense. And this is what I'm saying. They're doing all this obstruction with these judges, these injunctions, because they want to waste Donald Trump's time. They know they only got to deal with him for 4 years, so they're trying to waste his 4 years by doing all these legal fights, because this is the only form of protest these Democrats have. And this is one of the incentives I think that should push Americans to not vote for any Democrat in 2026, is because if you give Democrats power, they're not going to work with Trump where it makes sense to work with Trump. They're going to just get in Trump's way in anything he does, regardless of what he does. And I think this is what American people are slowly waking up to.
You have to leave. Americans are tired of that. We do not have unlimited resources.
You know who was here illegally with a deportation order? Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right,
we're not talking about Marco Rubio.
Oh, now we're not? Now that's not relevant?
It's not relevant.
No, I'm talking about Marco Rubio because Marco Rubio
all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used to be
I'm not
an advocate for Nicaraguans and Cubans.
And this is the difference between the left and the right. If you say, if let's say someone on the right benefited for something, they'll go, yeah, but my parents shouldn't have been able to stay here then. Principles. It's principles. It's called principles. It's called being consistent. At least we know what Republicans are supposed to say to that answer. Marco Rubio, your grandfather came here illegally. Do you believe he should have been deported? Yes, I believe he should have been deported. I believe he should have came in the right way. That's called principles. That's called being consistent. But the left, no, they think they expect you to shift and change depending on what side of the issue you align and benefit from. But then if I put it in a nationalistic standpoint, from an American standpoint, most Americans should be against illegal immigration. But at the same time, they want us to be sympathetic to illegals. Make it make sense. So illegals are people, Americans born from illegal parents, you expect them to align themselves with illegals. But when Donald Trump makes statements about how America gets taken advantage of and how these illegals come in and take resources from the Americans that they barely pay any taxes into, you don't expect Americans to side with Trump on this. Make it make sense.
No, I know you're not.
If you come into this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people, other than the black people who were brought here as slaves, who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people who were brought here.
Hey, look, and as someone who's descended from Caribbean parents, I don't give a damn. My parents came here the right way. My dad waited 20 years. My mom waited 15 years to come to this country. Met each other here in the United States. Had me. There's a lot of legal people. Like this is my problem with the left. They try to create this vague thing. Oh, migrants, a lot of migrants. No, I don't care. Illegals. I don't care how you broke into the country. I would have accepted. And this is the funny part about the Democratic Party. People say I just hate the Democratic Party because they're Democrats. No, I don't. I hate the Democratic Party because they have no ideas. They're trying to sit here and gaslight you like a toxic ex who knows that she does something wrong, but she tries to shift the blame on you. Make it make sense. This is the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton, I remember when Obama was running, 2008, she said that, hey, you came to this country illegally, you want to stay, you got to pay a heavy fine. I agree with that. I believe there should be some penalty for you breaking the law. But currently, how the Democrats want things set up, it's almost like we're rewarding people for coming into this country illegally. And I think that's the number one thing that I hate or I can't stand about the Democratic Party, is that they don't enlist any kind of accountability. Donald Trump is enlisting accountability. The accountability is your ass getting deported back to your home country. You're going home now. That's Trump's accountability for illegal immigration. I asked Democrats, what is your accountability for illegal immigration? They have none. In some cases, California, Chicago, you're rewarding people for coming into this country illegally. You're protecting them. They don't get the same, they don't get held accountable to the same point with the law. You arrest an illegal criminal and then you release a criminal illegal and you release them before ICE can come and detain them. You're going out of your way to protect these people. California giving illegals access to their healthcare system, even though the illegals don't pay into the taxpayer system at the same rate as Americans does. Make it make sense. You are rewarding these people for breaking your country's laws. What kind of incentive are you pushing out into the world? And then what kind of outcomes are you expecting from that incentive? more illegals coming into your districts, coming into your state, coming into your city, and then you go down the rabbit hole with the consensus population numbers, counting these illegals as part of your population numbers, so then you can have more electoral college votes. You can have more House Democrats for your state. This is the game. And then when people like me point out the political game, you try to pretend that, oh no, you're just being virtuous and moral and you just have such a big heart and you care about these people. Yeah, okay.
Here against
That's
our will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decide
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot
across
of
the
people
border. There's a
other
big
than the
difference.
black
There is
people.
a big
That's
difference.
exactly what
There
I
is a
just
big
said.
difference.
That's
Chair Michael,
exactly what I just
Chair
said,
Michael
Sir Michael.
and
Look and
Anna.
act indignant. That's
Okay.
exactly what
It's
I
not
just
about
said.
acting
I-
indignant.
Yes, it is.
let me
You just heard me
Chair
say
Michael.
that other than the black
Anna
people
and
who
Chair
came
Michael.
as
You're more
slaves,
high
there
ground
are
here.
a lot of people from
Chair
many,
Michael, I
many
think you
countries
actually
that came here
misheard what she.
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely-
See, this is where Anna Navarro fucked up. I'm sorry, guys, I cursed. This is where she messed up. Because he was already, okay, I messed up. He was going to apologize. I honestly, based on what I see from Sir Michael, stand-up guy, he said, okay, I misheard. And then she insinuated that he did it on purpose. That's where she messed up.
Yes, you did.
So now you're in my
Chair
brain?
Michael, listen to me for
Is
just a
that,
second.
is that where we're going?
You
Chair
think
Michael,
I would
listen to me
say,
for a
I who
second.
have advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people
stop.
my entire life would
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great,
stop.
congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black, you're not.
Okay, Chair Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino and my people are being racially
is-
profiled.
Nah, your people are not being racially profiled because as a man descended from Haitians, I think Donald Trump is about to revoke all the temporary status that many Haitian immigrants are here under. So Latinos are not being racially profiled. It's just a status thing. Hey, you're American, you're not American. I'm sorry. That's just how the cookie crumble, right? Because I expected if I was in, like, let's say let's say Haiti was the envy of the world and people was immigrating to Haiti, I wouldn't be mad if Haiti was like, nah, you're not Haitian. You're not allowed to stay here. I wouldn't even be mad. But for some reason, everyone has this entitlement to America. And I think a lot of Americans are sick of it. But, I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and your perspective in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And share this video if you feel so inclined. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.